Hey, what's going on YouTube? Unknown Sloth here with Brandon Lake Hub of Team Impaired Giraffe. Sort of all over the place, sort of. Yeah, whatever. He made 21st place, 23rd? 23rd place.
Doesn't sound like much, but
at the Yeti Regional. It was 320 people overall after Dragon Duels and everything. Technically, in the main event, it was 308 people. But he made 23rd, and he is drinking McDonald's, which is good. Which is good for you.
You can't drink McDonald's.
Yes, you can drink McDonald's. Well, they will make it happen. Well, they're going to make like a burger shake someday, I'm telling you. Yeah, you do. They will make you that. I told you on my voice, swear to God. Anyway, this is his deck profile, and he's going to explain it, and go on ahead, Brandon.
You can explain as much as I can. I can't really tell you any more than I know. So it's a Laval deck, right? So you run the basic level 4 non-tuner Kindle target, and yeah, handmaiden, because if you're not running it in Lavals, you're probably bad. It does the best thing. It loads up your graveyard, and yeah, cannon. The literal best level of this deck. It has put in the most work out of everything in my deck. Lakeside, because I hate unknown stuff. Back row is some scary crap, and she says, "Don't worry, Brandon, I've got your back." I'm like, "Thanks, Lakeside lady." Yeah, triple blaster, because I have 10 fires. Hold on, 13 fires. Obviously, so it's like
plus an extra deck.
So it's like 12 fires that I can pitch from hand to extra pop, not in, with the Lakeside. So not only was like, I'm afraid of face downs, but she says, "Don't worry." He's like, "I'm here too, and I'm a dragon," and he gets rid of everything I don't care about or I don't like. So he also banishes some fires for cannon to make this deck outrageously live. Now for the non-fires, I run double card because I like drawing into the things I want. I only run 2 because I don't like skipping my battle phase and not special summoning as much as I like winning. Triple Swift Scarecrow. He is basically my extra life. I only run 3 Scarecrow. I don't run double Trigger Gores anymore, with obvious reasons coming up. But he says, he's like, "Lakeside, no, I got your back even more." He stops me from dying, and I like that. Triple Max C. I didn't really like 3. 2 would have been a better number, but I would never cut it to below 3 because I want to see this card. And lastly, for monsters, Triple Redux, because my deck's either Fire or Earth, so I can either extra Monster Reborn or extra pop, and it's the reason I don't run double Dragon Gores anymore, because I have 8 other Earths. So I was like, I like having the ability to have a 3K ass, 3K, or having the option to synchro into an 8 super easy, or overlay into a rank 7, which I almost never did. But the option was there, and this scared so many people. They expected the blaster, not the Redux. This literally won me games because of his 3,000 defense and his surprise. So the deck's just Fire and Earth.
Plus he was also like a level 8 monster, so then you can go to drive level 8 synchros.
I did that so much. And that's it for monsters. On to the spells. Triple Molten Conduction because I like opening this card and winning. Triple Rekindling. I actually didn't drop this card as much as I wanted to. But when I did, I won games.
And there was such a glare on Rekindling. Oh my god, that's so bad.
It's because they're super German, bro. This card is my win condition, essentially, but it's not as needed. 2 Anal Stick. Because
7-star sword. We can't say that on. Okay, yes, we can't say that on YouTube.
Because I cut duality to 1 and card to 2 because this is better than both of those. I have 6 7s in the deck that statistically I will open this with a 7. Odds are really good, but I don't lose out on a special summon or my battle phase. And 3 was too many because I would see the card too much. Obviously 1 wouldn't be enough because I want to see the card more often. So 2 was the perfect number. 1 of Dark Hole, Gold Star, Book of Moon, and only 1 duality because it was good when I needed it, Otherwise, I just went on with my day and didn't give two craps. On to the traps. Return from a different dimension. My second. This is basically a rekindling for anything I fucking want. I have a banished. I don't even really care. I banish anything from my extra deck. I bring it right back and I win. This card's too good. It deserves getting banned. But I still love the card no matter what. 2 Raigeki Break, because I don't main MSTs, because I have the Lakesides, and I didn't feel back row was as relevant in this format, even though people are maining heavy back row in some decks, and Skill Drain, Iron Wall, and Emptiness. So this got rid of those, or monsters if I needed them, and all the draw power and outrageous hand control in this deck. I felt, why not put it to good use? I could pitch an E-Dragon and not lose advantage. And lastly, Divine Wrath. Because this threw so many people for a loop. They would expect it to be something attack stopping or just something scary, so they'd attempt to bait it out. And then when they'd go to do something, I would just say, Divine Wrath, no. This won me so... well, not really won many games, but it put people in a tough position because they would expect it to be one thing. Turned out to be that, and they read it as something else, and it cost them. Let's go to the extra deck. These are my 5s. I had to cut Catastor because I didn't have the room, the extra deck space. Librarian, I actually didn't play as much, but it was good when I opened Molten Conduction or Kindling before opening my blasters. Dual Slashers, nice for Kindle target. I almost didn't go into him as much. Went into it more than Librarian, but not as much as Dragon. This card literally won me more games than anything else. I would just spot remove, put stuff back into the deck, and then just still synchro into this thing, the gay dirge of the deck, search out a Handmaiden, pitch it, and then just reload up my grave. My other 6, Tempest Magician. This card actually won me some games, which I went to the regionals hoping it would do. Basically, you synchro summon for it, you put a spell counter on it, pitch any number of cards once per turn from your hand to put that many spell counters on monsters you control. And then its other effect, remove any number of spell counters from your field. Your opponent takes 500 times the number removed. And I go into that with Handmaiden and Librarian. I go Librarian, do some synchro plays, load up my hand, Tempest Magician with the Handmaiden after poking for some damage, and I win. Although Librarian and Tempest didn't see as much play as I'd hoped. My 7s are Stenin. This bad boy put in all the work I wanted him to. 7 Overlay, or Banish for 7 Sword, Sacred Sword, whatever. Synchro into an 8 if I needed it, or just wall it up so the opponent couldn't touch him. Really good. Black Rose Dragon. Probably the MVP of the day. Cannon into this card after clearing the opponent's back row when they would just load up with monsters. They just hated seeing this card. Crimson Blader didn't win me as many games as I wanted to, but it won enough. It put in the work it needed to, and he got in there. Oh, my throat. But he got in there, he did his thing. Scrap Dragon, because I like more spot removal. While not losing advantage, I would pop a Handmaiden and just continue loading up grave or doing whatever I wanted. Stardust I almost never went into. I regret every time I did go into it, because it didn't help. No, that's it for Synchros. I don't run Quasar because I don't like the card. I don't run Star Eater because I didn't have grave. Gemini Pearl. Out to Ophion. Never went into that. Wouldn't change it though. Volcasaurus, more spot removal, and some burn damage. I have 3 level 5 synchros, so making this was no problem. I made it a few times. Caught some people off guard. It was nice. Got a Dragon. Slap on top of Volcasaurus after I've used them. Or just rank 7 if I ever felt like being bad and going into that. Big Eye if I needed it. Literally never went to this card, but it was nice to have it if I needed it. And Dragossack. I like the extra spot removal, because if I don't have enough, because I'm a control player, it's what I do. But otherwise, it just did not. I went into it twice, opponents got rid of it, literally the next turn after I made it, so it was not worth it.
So the synchros you actually did play were?
Slasher, Dragon, kind of that. It did what it needed to, but I didn't make it as much. Dragoon, can't really make that without Librarian. Sten, Black Rose, Crimson Blader, Scrap Dragon, Stardust I really didn't make. I didn't even really make Crimson Blader that much. He won me a couple games with it, not enough. Never went to Pearl. Volca did some stuff. Gaia Dragon. Never went Big Eye, and really didn't even go Dragon Sack.
Yeah, because didn't you say something about it always going, like, it was just always getting popped?
Yeah, it just, my opponent would just waste it with whatever they had. Skill drain it, and punch it, or just Tiger King negate. It literally didn't even do me anything good having that. I liked it for the security, but I would rather replace it with a Master of Blades. As much as that probably pains people to hear, card's really not even as good as it's hyped to be. Master of Blades puts in a lot more work. And lastly, the side deck. My only monster side. 2 Fencing Fire Ferrets.
Why?
Pitch with Blaster to pop, banish it if I needed to, or it's a good out to Ophion, and especially if I went into time, I would open this card, set it, and it would put me in a much better position because they would lose their monster and 500 life points. This card did not deserve to be a common. What were you thinking, Konami? This card's outrageous. Triple MST for obvious reasons, because when my opponent side's in the back row that Lakeside can't hit, he does his thing. TT, I like having spot removal that doesn't target, and for decks that swarm faster than me.
And what you were telling me was that... And then what you were telling me was that those were the only 5 cards you played? Mostly, or were those like the most 5 cards you sided in?
V6 and Decree were really the only extra deck cards, extra deck cards that put in work, aside from this card, which did a little bit. Sealing Ceremony of Catan. Continuous trap once per turn, making it spell speed 2 so I can do it on my opponent's turn. Banish a fire monster in my graveyard to target a card in the opponent's graveyard and banish it. I didn't side DD Crow, instead I would side this. I'd banish a fire in my grave, so I'd banish a Laval to set up for cannon plays, or I would banish Blaster and get a free search off that on my opponent's turn, but I would just use it the same as DD Crow. They would activate something in the grave or target something in the grave, I would just Catan banish it, and they'd be just as sad as if it was a DD Crow. Needle Sealing, also a card that doesn't target, or like Booshins that was never a thing, and if my opponent swarms faster than me. Infernities, that thing too. Lots of work.
Round 9 win.
Won me round 9. That's all I remember doing for me, actually. Vanity's Emptiness. Never sighted into, or I sighted into it, only saw it twice. It was popped by an Infantry and a Blaster, so it didn't matter. Goes in match. Sighted into once against Dragons, and it was popped by MST. The same turn, I opened it and Emptiness. My opponent just said, I don't like your back row, got rid of both, and I was sad. And lastly, Bottomless Triple. Also, more spot removal that doesn't target if my opponent scares me. I only sided this against Fire Kings. Never saw it. That's it.
So, if we had to like recap here, like, if there were some things that we even changed to the deck, what would it be and why?
I would probably cut the Rekindling count. Rekindling count down.
Down? Why? I mean, you're saying it's like your win condition, but why cut it?
Because I banished my resources way too fast, and I opened this a lot more than I wanted to, especially without getting the Molten Conduction, and it put me in a really bad spot. Opening game, early game.
Any cards you would take out on the side, or thinking, like, because of your matchups, do you think that you could have sided anything else, or do you feel like that was all you could do?
Had I known what my matchups were going to be, I would have sided. I don't even know what I would have sided, to be honest.
I mean, do you feel like the side that what you had right now was solid for what you went up against?
Absolutely. Not just for things I went up against, I was prepared for things that I actually didn't play, and I can't really blame that on my side deck. Just because I was paired up against decks I wasn't prepared for. I went up against 1 Dragon and 1 Mermail, and that was what I was expecting to see the most of. I played 2 Fire Fists, lost 1, drew the other.
Now, you were in Lenexa, Kansas for the regional. all of us were there. Do you feel like that with their format it was different than ours, like as far as decks wise?
Yeah, there were like 2 million Constellar players there that needed to not be there.
Right, and I saw like a lot of dragons and a lot of invernities and a lot of like consoles, like you said. Now, how do you feel with the Yeti regional, what the St. Louis regional was, like as far as decks wise? Like, how many decks do you think were there, and do you think like more consoles were there, or more Evil Swarms, or more Fire Fist or Fire Kings, or
I played 2 Fire King decks back to back. One was my buddy Alfie, but the other I literally didn't expect. I don't know why Fire Kings. My other friend was running Fire Kings too, and I sat next to him at round 8. Round 7. Apparently Fire Kings is a thing. A lot more than I expected it to be.
Apparently not in Lenexa. I mean, they're playing all the top tier decks in Lenexa. Everyone else in St. Louis is playing all the bad decks.
That's because the only good players in Lenexa are the players that come from out of state.
And then also
Tyler Tedman sucks ass.
Oh, also all the topping players are there, like Taylor Tadman,
He's a
Paul Cooper, Kevin
Ward.
Yeah, Kevin Ward, and a lot of good players were there. I'm
not saying they're bad. I just don't like the top players just because they're just really rude. I know not all the time, but they just come across as total jerks. I don't really have a problem with them personally, just who they are.
Right, but overall for the Yeti Regional, how do you feel what the turnout was as far as players go? Do you think that it was weird that we had so many, or because of the ARG Open this weekend as well, or do you feel like that we could have had more if it wasn't there, or do you feel like that if there was more players? Do you feel like that if there was more players that you would have had a less chance of topping?
Well, if we had any different number of players, it would have affected my opponents each round. So I can't really say too much because, I mean, I did good against Dragons and Mermails, but there's still no guarantee
how
I would have done if the outcome was completely different.
Well, I mean, as long as you were confident in your deck. But that is Brandon Lacob's 23rd place deck list. It is what it is, and it is an amazing deck, and it's original, and you guys should try it out and check out Team Impaired Giraffe's channel along with my channel.
Team Impaired Giraffe's channel hasn't done anything in 2 years.
Really?
Probably. I mean, Matt's the one that uploads. He doesn't really upload for Team Impaired Giraffe. It's his own channel, Bleak Park Domain.
Bleak Park Domain. So, make sure to subscribe for that, yeah. Also, this video is also going to be available on Mexicus4666's channel and MCO40's channel as well. So, make sure to also check out their channels and comment and subscribe. And we're out, guys. See you later.
Take it easy.